Hello guys, welcome back to another Android Studio tutorial. So we can add a fragment in two ways. First one, we can add directly through XML file. Second option, you can add or remove a fragment at the runtime. So here in this episode, here I am going to create a simple example that demonstrate how to add a fragment through XML file. So now we can start with a new Android Studio project. Specify the application name. Here I name it as Fragment Example. Select an empty activity. Here the project is created. So now here I am going to add two fragments to the main activity through XML file. So first here I am going to create two separate fragments. Like activity, fragments also have a class file and a separate layout file. So now here I am going to create two separate fragments. So first here I am going to create the class file for the fragment. So create a new Java class. I name it as headline fragment. So this is the Java class for the fragment. Now we need to create a layout for this fragment. So expand resource folder, right click the layout folder and create a new layout resource. Specify the file name. Here I name it as headline fragment layout. So this is the layout for the headline fragment. So now here I am going to add some text to this layout. So change this one into blueprint. Now here I am going to add a text to view. Now specify the constraint for the text to view. Specify constraint at the top. Specify constraint on left and right. Now change the margin on the top into 32. Now here I need a constraint at the bottom also. At the bottom also I am going to use the same margin. Okay. Now select the text view. Make it bold. Align the text at the center. Now change the text size into 30 sp. Now I am going to change the text. I name it as headline fragment. Now we can view the design. So this is the layout for the first fragment. Now go to the headline fragment class file. So this is a fragment class. So you need to extend fragment. Select fragment from the support library. So like activity, here also you need to override some lifecycle method. So here the method is onCreateView. So in the case of an activity, you need to override onCreate method, but in the case of a fragment, you need to override the method called onCreateView. So for this method, we have some parameters like an object of layout inflator, a view group object, and the last one is a bundle object. So from this method, we can inflate the layout. So here I simply delete the return statement. So from this method, we have to return a view object. So create some view object. Now we can inflate the layout using the first parameter. The first parameter is an object of layout inflator. So by use that object, you can call a method called inflate. So here the first parameter is the layout resource. So our layout name is headline fragment layout. Second parameter is the view group. Here the view group is container. And final one is a boolean attached to root. So now you can pass false for it. And finally, we can return that object from this method. So now the fragment is ready. So this is the first fragment. Here this is the fragment class, and this is the fragment layout. Now here I am going to add one more fragment. So first create the class for the fragment, create another Java class. I name it as article fragment. Now we need to create the layout for the new fragment. So create the layout file. Here I name it as article fragment layout. Now go to the previous layout. I copy the entire code segments. Now go to the new layout, go to the XML version. Okay, so here we need to modify the text. This one is the article fragment. Okay, now go to the class file. So this extends fragment and override the method on create view method. So now we can return the view in a single statement. Inflator dot inflate, specify the layout resource. Here it is article fragment layout, container. Okay, so now here in this application we have two fragments, headline fragment and an article fragment. So we create the layouts and class files. Now we need to add these two fragments to the main activity through XML file. So now I close all these files. Now we can open main activity, layout for the main activity. So this is the layout for the main activity. Go to the XML version of that layout. So for listeners, here I'm going to modify the root element of this layout into a linear layout. So by using linear layout, we can align view components horizontally and vertically. So here I need to align the components vertically. So I have to specify the orientation for this layout. So here we need to add one more attribute called orientation. Here I need vertical orientation. Here is a text to view is available. So remove it. So if you want to add a fragment through XML, you have to specify a fragment XML item on the layout file. So here we need to add two fragments. So here I am going to add the first fragment. Specify the width as match parent, height into 0 dp. Now specify an ID for the fragment. This is headline fragment. Now specify a layout weight. Specify layout weight into 1. Okay, so now we need to specify the class for the fragment. So you can specify the class for the fragment by using this attribute called name. Now you need to specify the class for the fragment. This one is headline fragment. Now we need to add one more fragment. So I copy that fragment, put it here. So this is article fragment. Now modify the class name. Here the class is article fragment. Now change the weight into 2. So now we successfully add the two fragments to the main activity. So now we can test our application. So we can start some virtual device. Okay, now here the virtual device is ready. Now we can run the application. So click the run button, select the virtual device. So now here the application available on this virtual device. So this is the first fragment and here is the second fragment. So here instead of creating two activity for headline and articles, here we create two fragments and we add the two fragment to the main activity through the XML file. So this is how we add fragments to the activity through XML. I hope you understand all these concepts. For getting more video updates, please subscribe to this channel now. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.